Black performers have shaped the very soul of American cinema, breaking barriers, redefining what was possible, and leaving behind stories that still inspire. Today, we visit the resting places of extraordinary artists who changed Hollywood forever. Clarice Taylor, a grandmother to generations. Clarice Taylor's presence brought warmth to every screen she touched. Audiences knew her as the wise, loving grandmother from The Cosby Show and Sesame Street. But her journey began long before television. In the 1940s, she joined the American Negro Theater, a groundbreaking troupe that gave many black artists their first chance to shine. Over the next 5 decades, she honed her craft, balancing gentle humor with quiet strength. Her 1986 Emmy-nominated performance as Anna Huxtable, Cliff's mother, captured exactly what fans loved about her: tenderness wrapped in quiet authority. When Clarice passed away in 2011 at the age of 93, she was laid to rest at Pine Lawn Memorial Park in Farmingdale, New York. Her grave sits among manicured lawns and low plaques designed to preserve the park-like calm of the grounds. Her bronze marker, set into a granite base, bears a simple inscription framed by a delicate floral border: "Beloved Mother and Grandmother." It's a gentle tribute that perfectly mirrors her real-life warmth, a resting place as peaceful and genuine as the characters she made immortal. James Baskett, the first black Oscar winner. Few performances are as instantly recognizable as James Baskett's portrayal of Uncle Remus in Disney's 1946 film Song of the South. His warm voice and joyful delivery of Zip-a-dee-doo-dah made cinematic history. The song even won the Academy Award for Best Original Song. 2 years later, Baskett himself received an honorary Oscar, becoming the first black male actor ever honored by the Academy. Yet his success was shadowed by controversy surrounding the film and by his failing health. Only months after receiving the award, he succumbed to diabetes and heart disease at just 44. He was buried in his hometown of Indianapolis, Indiana, at the vast and historic Crown Hill Cemetery, final resting place to many of the city's luminaries. For nearly 3 decades, his grave remained unmarked, an ironic silence for a man who had made history. In 1976, through the efforts of family and devoted fans, a simple upright granite stone was finally placed. The inscription reads, "James Baskett, Uncle Remus," a quiet acknowledgement of an artist whose groundbreaking achievement remains forever intertwined with America's complicated film. Its history. Beah Richards, the voice of dignity and defiance. Beah Richards was more than an actress. She was a truth-teller. On stage and screen, she radiated strength, compassion, and conviction. Her journey began in the theater, where she earned a Tony Award nomination in 1965 for James Baldwin's The Amen Corner. She went on to captivate audiences as the wise and loving mother in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, a role that earned her an Academy Award nomination. Beah was also a committed activist. Between performances, she marched, spoke, and wrote about civil rights, using her artistry as a weapon against injustice. Her later years brought continued recognition: 2 Emmy Awards, 1 posthumous, for her powerful television work. When she passed in 2000 at 80, her ashes were placed at Woodlawn Cemetery and Mausoleum in Santa Monica, California, in the Corridor of Tenderness. On the plaque beside her name are words she lived by: "Keep on keeping on. There is a balm in Gilead, one love." Each line is a window into her spirit, perseverance, healing, unity. Her resting place, serene and dignified, reflects a lifetime spent giving hope through truth and artistry. Lincoln Perry, the complicated pioneer before Hollywood opened its doors to black performers. There was Lincoln Theodore Monroe, Andrew Perry, known to the world as Stepin Fetchit. He was the first black actor ever to receive a screen credit and the first to earn $1 million from film, yet his legacy is one of both triumph and controversy. On screen, Perry's lazy, slow-talking character became one of Hollywood's earliest recurring black personas. Critics and civil rights leaders later condemned it as demeaning. But Perry himself argued that he was playing the system, that his exaggerated performance forced Hollywood to acknowledge black actors' box office power. Off-screen, He was a sharp businessman, fluent in multiple languages, and a quiet supporter of civil rights efforts. But the weight of his fame, and the criticism that followed, never left him. When he passed away in 1985 at age 83, he was buried at Calvary Cemetery in Chicago, beneath a flat granite headstone. Etched into the stone are both names, Lincoln Perry and Stephen Fetchit, a symbolic recognition of the two lives he lived, the man and the myth. Even today, his grave invites reflection. Was he a stereotype, or a strategist who outwitted the system from within? Perhaps, in truth, he was both, a pioneer whose path made it possible for others to walk more freely. Godfrey Cambridge, the comedian, who told the truth. Godfrey Cambridge was never afraid to make people laugh, or uncomfortable. In the 1960s and 70s, he used humor as a weapon, challenging racism and hypocrisy with razor-sharp wit. Born in Harlem, Cambridge studied psychiatry before realizing his true gift lay in holding up a mirror to society. His performances in Cotton Comes to Harlem, Watermelon Man, and The President's Analyst captured both his comedic genius and his insight into the American condition. He was twice nominated for a Grammy Award and was one of the first comedians to fill major theaters with his solo act, something rare for black performers at the time. But his success was brief. In 1976, at only 43, he suffered a fatal heart attack while filming a movie in Hollywood. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in the Hollywood Hills, the same cemetery that houses legends like Bette Davis and Lucille Ball. His grave, marked by a simple bronze plaque, bears only his name and dates, no epitaph, no embellishment. It's understated, but perhaps fitting. Cambridge let his words, not monuments, speak for him. And decades later, those words still echo with laughter and truth. Scatman Crothers, the soul of a performer. Albert Scatman Crothers was the kind of entertainer who could do it all: sing, play guitar, dance, act, and make you smile just by walking into a room. He began his career in the 1930s as a jazz musician, earning the nickname Scatman for his signature vocal improvisations. Over time, his smooth voice carried him from smoky clubs to radio, film, and television. Audiences loved him in The Shining, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and as the voice of Scat Cat in Disney's The Aristocats. His warm spirit made every role memorable, every moment genuine, even late in life. He was still performing, still spreading that same joy. When Scatman passed away in 1986, he was buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Los Angeles. His bronze grave plaque is among the most distinctive in the park. It features his smiling portrait, complete with his trademark fedora. Beneath it reads a simple inscription: "Beloved, husband and father." It's an image that captures his essence. That infectious grin, the easy charm, and the boundless heart that made him not just a performer, but a light in every life he touched. Canada Lee, the fighter who spoke truth. Before Hollywood gave voice to black heroes, Canada Lee was already one in real life. A boxer turned actor, he used his fame to fight for equality, both on screen and in society. His performance in Hitchcock's Lifeboat and the stage adaptation of Native Son broke boundaries, proving that black actors could carry complex, leading roles. But his political activism during the McCarthy era put him on Hollywood's blacklist, silenced but never defeated. When he died at just 45 in 1952, he was buried at Frederick Douglass Memorial Park in Staten Island, New York. His modest headstone bears only his name and dates, a humble mark for a man whose legacy speaks louder than stone. Brock Peters, the voice of integrity. Few performances touch the heart like Brock Peters. As Tom Robinson in To Kill a Mockingbird, with quiet strength and raw emotion, he gave voice to injustice in a way that still moves audiences today. Over his 5-decade career, Peters lent his commanding voice to roles in Star Trek, Carmen Jones, and countless other classics. When he passed in 2005, he was laid to rest at Forest Lawn in Hollywood Hills. His plaque reads simply, "Beloved husband, father and grandfather." No titles, no awards, just love, which was always the center of his life. Juanita Moore, Grace Under Pressure in 1959, Juanita Moore made history with her Oscar-nominated role in Imitation of Life, a performance that captured the pain and pride of a mother's love. It was rare recognition in a time when Black actresses were still overlooked, yet Juanita carried it with quiet dignity. Her career stretched across 6 decades, from small TV roles to big-screen dramas, always bringing authenticity to every line. She rests at Inglewood Park Cemetery in California, beneath a simple bronze plaque. No inscription beyond her name and dates, but her legacy doesn't need words. Her performances still speak for her: elegant, powerful, unforgettable. Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee, partners in art and life. Few love stories shine brighter than that of Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee, 2 artists whose bond transcended both screen and stage. Together, they became symbols of Black excellence and courage, blending art with activism during the Civil Rights Movement. Ossie's deep, commanding voice and Ruby's soulful presence made them an unforgettable pair. In films like Do the Right Thing and A Raisin in the Sun, they spoke truth with grace and conviction. When they passed, years apart, they were reunited at Ferncliff Cemetery in Hartsdale, New York. Their shared black granite headstone carries the perfect words, "In this thing together." Even in death, they rest side by side, a love story carved in stone. Red Foxx, the comic who made America. Laugh few comedians ever match the raw honesty of Red Foxx. As the sharp-tongued Fred Sanford from Sanford and Son, he redefined television comedy, bold, hilarious, and unfiltered. Born John Elroy Sanford, Foxx came up through Harlem's nightclubs, perfecting his rough-edged humor that spoke to real life. He died in 1991, ironically while rehearsing a scene about a heart attack, the very gag that made him famous. He's buried at Palm Memorial Park in Las Vegas under a simple headstone that reads one word: Beloved. It's the perfect tribute to a man who made millions laugh and left the world with a smile. Ethel Waters, a voice from the soul before. Hollywood embraced Black stars. Ethel Waters had already conquered the stage, the microphone, and the screen. Born into poverty, she rose to become one of the most celebrated performers of her time, a blues singer turned trailblazing actress. She earned both Oscar and Emmy nominations, and her haunting performance of His Eye is on the Sparrow became her spiritual anthem. When she passed in 1977, she was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Her bronze plaque bears her name and the title of her most beloved song, His Eye is on the Sparrow. A fitting farewell to a woman whose voice was pure faith, pain, and power all at once. Cab Calloway, the hi-de-ho legend. Long before rock and roll, Cab Calloway electrified audiences with swing, style, and swagger. The man in the white tuxedo, whirling his baton, shouting, "Hi-de-ho!" He made jazz a spectacle and turned the Cotton Club into history. Calloway wasn't just a singer, he was a showman, leading one of the greatest big bands of the Harlem Renaissance and mentoring legends like Dizzy Gillespie and Lena Horne. Even in his 80s, he still performed with that same boundless energy and joy. When he passed in 1994, he was laid to rest at Ferncliff Cemetery in Hartsdale, New York. In a bronze niche inside the mausoleum, his epitaph says it all, Hi-de-ho. Just 2 words, but enough to capture a lifetime of rhythm, charm, and genius. Bill Bojangles, Robeson, the man who danced through history. If you've ever seen a tap dancer smile while their feet move like lightning, that's Bill Bojangles. Robeson, born in 1878, he danced his way from vaudeville stages to Hollywood, breaking color barriers one tap at a time. He starred alongside Shirley Temple, becoming one of the first black performers to appear in films with white actors, and his grace and joy made him a star across America. When he passed in 1949, thousands lined the streets of Harlem to say goodbye. His remains rest at the Evergreen Cemetery in Brooklyn, beneath a monument that captures him mid-step, hat tipped, shoes gleaming, etched into the stone, world's greatest tap dancer, beloved by all. Even today, dancers across the world honor his birthday as National Tap Dance Day, a tribute to a man whose rhythm still echoes. Lena Horne, beauty, bravery, and grace-fused stars shined with the poise and power of Lena Horne. Singer, actress, activist, she was Hollywood elegance wrapped around a fearless soul. In an era of segregation, she refused to play roles that demeaned her. She walked away from big studios, choosing dignity over fame. Her voice, smooth as silk, strong as steel, made songs like Stormy Weather immortal. Lena passed away in 2010 at the age of 92 and was laid to rest at Evergreen Cemetery in Brooklyn, New York. Her family headstone is simple, engraved only with Lena Horne Houghton. No spotlight needed. Her name alone says everything: grace, courage, and timeless beauty. Paul Robeson, the voice of strength and conviction. Few artists ever carried a voice as mighty, or a conscience as bold, as Paul Robeson. Athlete, lawyer, singer, actor, activist, he was a man who seemed larger than life, using his gifts to fight for justice at every turn. From Showboat to global concert halls, Robeson's booming baritone captivated the world. But his outspoken views on equality and freedom made him a target during the Red Scare, costing him his passport, his career, and nearly his legacy. Yet, even silenced, he never stopped believing in what was right. When he passed in 1976, he was laid to rest at Ferncliff Cemetery in Hartsdale, New York. His headstone bears his name and a single quote, his creed: "The artist must elect to fight for freedom or for slavery. I have made my choice." A fitting final word for a man who chose truth over comfort and humanity over fame. Richard Pryor, the rebel who redefined comedy. Richard Pryor wasn't just funny, he was fearless. His comedy was raw, honest, and painfully human, turning personal chaos into art that made people laugh, cry, and think all at once. From his iconic stand-up specials to films like Silver Streak and Harlem Nights, Pryor redefined what it meant to be a comedian, speaking truth in a way no one else dared. When he passed in 2005, his ashes were placed at Evergreen Cemetery in his hometown of Peoria, Illinois. A life-sized statue now stands there, microphone in hand, eyes alive with mischief. The inscription below reads, "Actor, comedian, man," 3 words that capture his essence. A flawed genius who turned pain into laughter and left a mark that comedy still follows. Dorothy Dandridge, the star who dared to dream before there was Halle Berry. There was Dorothy Dandridge, the first black woman ever nominated for a Best Actress Oscar. Her beauty, elegance, and talent made her a Hollywood sensation in the 1950s, but behind the glamour lay constant struggle, a fight against the racism and barriers of her time. Her performance in Carmen Jones remains iconic, her confidence revolutionary. Yet, Hollywood offered her too few chances, and her life ended tragically young, at just 42. Dorothy rests at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Her bronze plaque reads, "Her voice and her talent touch the world and our hearts." A short line, but it says everything. Her light may have dimmed too soon, yet her influence continues to illuminate every black actress who followed. Sammy Davis Jr., the man who did it all singer. Dancer, actor, comedian, Sammy Davis Jr. truly did it all. A child star who grew into one of the greatest entertainers of the 20th century. His talent knew no limits. From Broadway to Vegas, from Rat Pack fame to civil rights activism, Sammy's energy was electric, his charm irresistible. He broke racial barriers, converting pain into performance and prejudice into applause. When he passed in 1990, he was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, among the very stars he once shared the stage with. His grave bears 3 perfect words: he did it all, and he truly did, with style, soul, and an unshakable smile. Closing narration. These were not just actors or entertainers. They were pioneers. each one rewriting the rules of art, courage, and representation. Their graves may be still, but their legacies move through time, in every laugh, every song, every story that dares to be bold, because the light they lit in Hollywood still burns today,